At the beginning of the chapter, I had mentioned that there were two industries which had revolutionized Britain. One was textile and the other was the iron and steel industry. As far as the textile industry is concerned, we've seen lot of ups and downs in India of the industry. Let's talk about the story of iron and steel industry in India. As far as iron and steel industry is concerned, the story goes like this, that in 1904, Charles Weld, an American geologist, and Dorabji Tata were roaming about in the jungles of Chhattisgarh because they were looking for a place where they could find some iron. Because it was Dorabji Tata who wanted to set up an iron and steel industry in India. Going through the places, they found few people moving with basket loads of iron who were agadis. And here they found somebody who could give them the clue of the iron produced in India, and thus they asked them the source of iron here. And they pointed out to the hills nearby, which were the Rajhara hills, that is the hills which produce the finest iron in the world. And thus was found the source for iron and steel industry in India, and their search was over. But the place was dry and did not have water. And without water, setting up such a big industry was not feasible. That is why they looked for a place where they could set up the iron and steel industry, but of course the source of iron and steel industry can be attributed to the Agadis. On the banks of river Supurnekha, an industrial township, that is Jamshedpur, was made, wherein the Tata Iron and Steel Company was established. This was the first iron and steel company which was established in India, and TISCO, as it is called, started its production in the 1912 years. After this, we see that though the Britishers were not sure if fine quality iron and steel could be produced in India, so they did not take much interest here, because they believed that for railways the steel had to be brought from Britain. But things changed for India, and the First World War started in 1914. So the steel industry in Britain had to meet the demands of the war, and therefore the Indian railway steel, this demand was manufactured and given by the Tata Iron and Steel Company, which was a great revolution in itself, giving a great boost to TISCO. Later on, even the shell and the carriage wheels required for the battle which was going on, or the war which was going on, were made or manufactured by TISCO. 90% of the production of TISCO was taken over by the Britishers themselves. This means a great boom, a great bane or boom for the Tata Iron and Steel industry in India. Of course, the upheavals are many, the hitches and glitches are many. There are places where we see that the textile industry in India felt that it has totally died. There are places when iron and steel industry in India felt that it can sustain no longer, but still they all emerged victorious, and thus the history of Tata Iron and Steel industry in India is complete. And that was the end of your chapter. Thank you.